Hello, guys, and welcome back. Today, we're going to be talking about how sports are a scam and how they keep you poor, how they lose you money, how they keep you, more importantly, distracted with how much time that you're wasting when you're watching sports, especially multiple sports, or let's say if you like different teams from different divisions. That happens a lot with a lot of people. Or if you're just a general sports fan, it wastes so much time. Now, the worst sports are season sports, and sadly they're the most popular as well. And this took me a long, long time to understand. When I was growing up, I still am a Man City fan, but I was a crazy avid Man City fan. I used to go to every game. I used to with my dad. I used to up to around about the age of about 22, 23 maybe. I didn't miss a single Man City match when it was on TV, or I'd listen to it on the radio if it wasn't on TV. This was years ago. But most of the games we'd go to, and over time that became if there's not a big game on, if it's not a cup final or a semi-cup final or like a Champions League game or a big game against a big team, then I wouldn't really bother watching it. I'd watch the highlights. Now it's evolved to I maybe watch 2 games a season in full. But even then, sometimes I miss the games. I completely forget that they're even on, and the reason being is because I can watch the highlights. I didn't really realize before, and I'll explain in a minute. But now I watch the highlights. It takes around about 3 minutes to watch a 90-minute football match with 15, 20 minutes for half time. The build up before, the analysis afterwards. You're saving about 2 hours, 2.5 hours, and you're compressing it into 3 minutes. And you're still getting the same kind of value out of it. You're still, you're still consuming the goals, the highlights, the assists. You still got a good grip on what happened in that game. It's like a movie trailer, apart from the Marvel ones, you can get a pretty good grip on what that movie's going to be about. You could probably fill in the gaps, so to speak, and probably not bother going and watching the film. And it's the same with sports. And I kind of realized that it was a waste of time when I got to, I think, about 21. I think Man City hadn't really, maybe I was younger, maybe 21, maybe 19, maybe 19, 20. And Man City hadn't really won any trophies for years. I think it was like 25 years. And, as a City fan growing up, you get bullied over it, and you just wish that your team was as good as the other teams. And it was just, playing on everyone's mind, and you're passionate. Every time you lose, you're devastated. Every time you win, you're super excited. And then it got to a point where we got good. We started winning a lot more games. And finally, that one title was there. Well, I think we won the FA Cup first. Super excited. But then you're still chasing the league. We win the league. I'm super excited. I'm over the moon. I'm going crazy. I think this is the best time ever. And then I realized that, within a day or two of the league ending, all the other teams, all the other supporters of teams are talking about next season. They're talking about how good next season is going to be and how, it's fine because we'll win it next year. And for 3 months, roughly, you get bragging rights, and then the season starts again. Or even like close to the season, but the season starts again, and it all means nothing. So if you won it last year, it was kind of pointless. And then City, we didn't win it for the next year, but then we won it again. And each time we won it, it just felt more diminishing. It was just like, it doesn't really matter anymore. And I came to realize, I was like, I've wasted a lot of my life complaining about something, or being excited about something, just high emotions about something that doesn't matter year to year. In the real time, it is just a form of entertainment, but it consumes people's lives. And I'm looking at teams like Liverpool now, who won the league. Congratulations. And all of their supporters are like, what a long wait it was to get this trophy. This is fantastic. This is the best day of my life. I've seen people say stuff like that. And it's like, guys, you're not getting anything out of this. You're just a supporter. So all you're getting is emotions and bragging rights for 3 months. And you've invested maybe 3,000-4,000, maybe more, into going to each game, maybe another 1,000 on buying the kits, taking other family members to the games, when you get food, when you go for pints, when you're at the games. You add all that up, you're probably blown away like 6,000 per year, and then you're paying for Sky, BT Sport, whatever it is in America. I don't know what some of your systems are, I guess like HBO and stuff like that, where you've got all the sports channels, ESPN, And you're blowing all that money. You're looking at like a £7,000-8,000 or dollar investment every single year just to follow your team and be a good supporter. But when Liverpool won it, it's not the fans that are benefiting. They're just getting happy emotions, but their lives don't change. If you were in poverty, Liverpool winning the league doesn't mean you're going to be richer. And then, like I said, next year it doesn't matter anyway. In 3 months' time, Liverpool might lose the first 10 games of the season. Man City go on to win the league, and it's like, so what was all that for? What was the point? It doesn't matter if you win. It really just does not matter. You should just watch sport for entertainment. I think support a team, but just don't get too involved in it, guys. Don't get too gripped up in it. I think it keeps people poor. Because like I said, you're spending all of that money. You're distracted every season. Whoever wins or whoever does better than expected, the team's owners, the managers, the team's players, maybe the staff as well, they kind of all benefit. Maybe they get a pay rise. Maybe they get more money. Maybe they get more clout. Like the players, they become more famous. They get more sponsorship deals, more advertisements, more followers on social media. For them, it's fantastic. For the fans, there's fuck all. There's nothing. As a fan, you're a digit. All these teams say, we care about our fans. Like Jurgen Klopp said, this one was for the fans. And I genuinely believe that he believes it was for the fans. Like he seems like a genuine guy. But at the end of the day, it's not, because the fans don't get anything. They just get a little bit of personal glory that, it wasn't them that did it. They just watched and they just said, I support that team. It's very easy to support a team. So all they did was just show up and spend their money. So they're losing, and then, you're spending 8,000, you're losing all of that time, all of that emotional energy that's going out of your body. And then all you get in return is, a little bit of a celebration for maybe a week, maybe 3 months of bragging rights, and then you get an envelope through the post or an email and they say you can renew your season ticket. So hang on, didn't we just win the league? So I've got to pay again. It makes no sense. Like I was supposed to have won, but now I've got to shell out more money. Oh, and there's a new shirt. Oh, I'll buy that as well. But it's like, it makes no sense. You've just, as a fan, you've just won something. You're supposed to be celebrating, and now you've got to fork out more money to do it all again next season. And you might not win it next season. But because we won it last season, I'm in high spirits. It's a good time to ask people if they want to sign up for a new season ticket, if they want the new shirt, if they want the home shirt, the away shirt, the full kit, the special Champions League shirt, the special Premier League winning one with the badge on, or so. Like, the alternative kit, the goalkeeping kit. Like, there's so many kits now. I'll get one for my wife as well, I'll get the female one that's got a little bit of extra space here. It's so silly. And that's just football. You think NFL, that's like most of your games, the NFL games are like 4 or 5 hours long, and you buy snacks, you have beers with the boys. If that's every single Sunday, you're losing a massive part of your life. Massive part of your life. It's the same with NBA games. They're quite long. If you're watching NBA as a fan, as like a supporter of just basketball in general, there's a game on like every 2-3 days. It's the same with the Premier League right now in football because of the lockdown. They're playing catch up. And there's a game every 2 or 3 days. It's like the World Cup right now. And, whoever's watching every single one of those games is losing hours and hours of their life. And what they're getting in return is nothing. And then next season, it all happens again. And the next season, it all happens again. And the next season, it all happens again. And by about 3 or 4 seasons down the line, all the players that you were supporting 4 years ago have gone. And all the players are different. So it's the same team name, but it's all different players. It's like, it's just so hollow. There's no allegiance. All you're following is a badge, a name, and a crest. It's like a Tesla fanboy. Those people that love Tesla, the cars, and they support the brand sort of thing. It's like, what? I get that you might like the cars, but how can you be a fan of a brand? And that's what it is in sports. You're just a fan of a brand. And without you, those players that are on like £1 million per month, they don't get their wages. They don't get paid. If we all turned off the TV tomorrow, which, it's entertaining, I'll give you that. But if we all turned off the TV tomorrow, if we all focused on ourselves, didn't buy the shirts and all the other shit that comes with it, the season tickets, etc., none of these players would have a career. None of them would be as elevated as they are. Like, we are propping them up by spending our hard-earned money so that they can earn millions. It's kind of rude. And then, like I said, when they win everything, it's like, this one's for the fans. And you think, yeah, it is. And I believe that they do feel passionately towards the fans, but the fans don't actually get anything. They just kind of get a bit of personal glory. Like I said, it's just kind of pointless. Now, it's the time wasted as well. Like, you could spend that so much better. You could put that into so many other different things. And the only sport that's kind of different is combat sports, because I believe like a big fight, like an Anthony Joshua versus Fury, I believe something like Canelo versus Anthony Yard, if they manage to pull something like that off. I think McGregor versus Khabib again. Maybe John Jones versus Francis Ngannou. You know, if maybe those 4 fights happen over the next year, then I would recommend, watching them. That's it. Champions League final, World Cup semi-finals, World Cup final, the final 7 games of the NBA, maybe the Super Bowl, and the Stanley Cup or something like that. If you pick your sports based on that sense and treat it more like a movie or like an opera or the theatre, where you show up, you sit down, maybe not as a neutral, maybe you have a team and you just check in, you watch the highlights, it takes 3 minutes to do, but you kind of watch it more in the mindset of a neutral. If you lose, it's not the worst thing in the world. If you win, yeah, fantastic, celebrate a little. But there's maybe 8 or 9 games that you're watching from all sports around the world in the period of a year, and you watch them more as like entertainment purposes. So once a month you sit down, and that's, I know Gary Vee does the same with the Jets. He says that every Sunday that's just his time. He works all week, watches nothing, no other sports, and when the Jets play, he sits down for like 3-4 hours, and that he dedicates his time to that. And that's pretty reasonable. But so many people will watch football, baseball, basketball, soccer, whatever, boxing, NFL, whatever's on, they'll watch. Like track and field's on. Let's watch the shot put. It's like, who really cares what's going on in the shot put? I couldn't name you one shot putter, but people will watch it just because it's sports. And I think sports are really holding a lot of people back from being successful, where they care too much about something that doesn't care about them, and they care too much about something that doesn't matter. 12 months from now, the whole table's turned upside down, and now there's a new team, and there's new players, and there's new superstars, and somebody else is the big name, and the player that everyone was talking about last year, he sucks. Or the team that was top last year, they suck this year. I wouldn't support that. The whole dynamic just changes completely, and like I said, everything just resets, and it just makes you think this is so meaningless. It's like running a business, and you make, you're set to make 100,000 for that year, and then it gets to the end of the tax year, and they just say reset, start again from scratch. You've got nothing left. So it's the exact same as that. Like, I don't know what people are supporting, and then people just have an accumulation of old shirts, old jerseys, like a Jordan 23 jersey from like 1996, and it's like, yeah, it's memorable, it's a piece of memorabilia, but he's not playing anymore. I know it's iconic. You can still go and buy one now. It's iconic, but it's like he's not playing anymore. Like everything that matters in life only matters in the present. The past is pointless. But because each year and each season is around about, each season, not the year, each season is around about 260, 280 days long. And then, like I said, it renews every 365 days. It's just kind of pointless. It's not around long enough to care about. If it was that's why the World Cup's important for football, because it's every 4 years. So when you win that, it's like, that's not coming around for a long, long time. There's only been something like, there's only been like 20 World Cups, roughly. I think around about 20 World Cups, and there's only been like 8 or 9 winners. So when you win that, it's quite lucrative. And then the whole country celebrates as a collective. That's quite unique. But to support a team, which is just a company or a brand, and they market to you, and you're as passionate about it as you would be about having like a child and seeing them succeed in life, or your own business become super successful, I think is ill-led. And don't get me wrong, guys, like, this is coming from a guy who was a passionate football fan, who used to, my weeks would either be good or bad based on how Man City performed. But like I said, guys, you can't live like that. You just can't live like that. Like, sports is ruining a lot of people's lives, and they're good to play, they're good to watch for entertainment purposes. But if you get too trapped in that bubble, a little bit like Arsenal Fan TV, the people they're so passionate on there, and it's like, guys, next season none of it matters. Everything changes again, it resets. So that's what I'd recommend. I'd recommend stepping back a little bit from sports. Don't kill your entire enjoyment if that's your team. Like I said, I'll watch the highlights, and if it's a big game, I'll sit down and watch it, but I'll do all my work in advance so that on that day, like Man City are playing tonight at 7, it's not really a big game. if I don't get everything finished, I'm not watching it. If I get everything finished, I might catch the second half. I might watch the highlights. I don't know. But either way, like, me watching it isn't going to change the result. So I can just watch the highlights afterwards. And I can still be passionate about my team. I can still be happy if they win, sad if they lose. But it means a lot less. You take that attention away from something that can control your emotions, which is a great way to do it. And then you can allocate those extra resources and extra time, extra focus, extra mental strength into something that actually matters and is going to improve your life. And you use sport more as an escape and an entertainment factor than anything else.